I just want you guys to know we've videotaped this and we put it on the Lebanon Maine Truth Seekers, which is a Facebook page.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
How you doing?
Good, I'm Anthony.
Nice to meet you, Anthony. Ben Thompson.
Nice to meet you, Ben.
Royce. Paul.
How you doing, Paul? Nice to meet you.
Paul, how are you?
Good.
Nope, thanks you for sitting down with us. I see Ben Saturday, last Saturday at the Lebanon Festival, and going over the booth that I had set up. I am in Primerica. Are you guys familiar with Primerica at all?
What is it?
Primerica.
Primerica?
Yeah.
I haven't heard
It's
of it.
Primerica Financial Services. It's like a financial education distribution company. We sit down with families, individual businesses, and go over concepts that a lot aren't taught in school, and a lot of different solution-oriented rather than product. We have a lot of products from a lot of different companies that we work with. We're able to provide a lot of different various financial services from outside companies that use us to distribute their financial products. And we're able to sit down across the kitchen table, kind of like this, with families, businesses, and offer more solutions on, maybe some problems or stuff that they're not educated on, stuff that might be getting taken advantage of. And one of the things that piqued our interest that, colleagues of ours are getting into is working with municipalities on, one of the big things that triggered it was like reserve accounts and different things like that, and also what are cities and towns doing for employees, because there's certain, everyone thinks of like the 401ks, 403bs and stuff like that with teachers, and pension plans and a lot of that stuff for retirement accounts or different financial services that they can benefit from, or services that cities or municipalities provide, that we can do the same thing. And that's basically what I wanted to do, is just introduce what we do, what I got into the company for mainly. Anthony sat down with me and went over like my stuff, and I was very intrigued on how well it really helped me and how well it's really helped the clients that I've been able to go see, friends and family, and friends and family of theirs, and really how well we benefit people with the services that we provide versus some of the other businesses that they're more just product specific, just they're there, that's their business, and we're more family oriented, more like problem solving oriented. We want to create relationships, we don't want to just make a sale per se. And I think there might be some benefit for the town, and that's why I wanted to sit down and weigh some options, more of an info night, kind of go over what it is. Anthony will take the floor. He's been, I call him my office manager, but we're kind of we're real good friends, business partners per se. It's a very serious, financial services, the highest regulated industry in the world, but we're kind of a more laid back approach that,
More grassroots. Yeah.
Let's sit across the table and talk about this and not just come up with a bunch of jargon that no one's gonna understand. And go from there.
Well, I guess my question is, from a town perspective, do you guys have a lot of like town employees that are full time?
No,
No, small group.
not a lot. Yeah, I'm trying to think. You got a number off the top of your head?
15 tops.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
It
actually
might
not
even be excessive.
okay. Because one of the things that we do provide, which I know a lot of people haven't necessarily looked at it if they have a small employee base, is the 457 plans. Have you guys looked into 457 plans at all, or does the town have one?
I've only been here for a couple of years.
Okay.
So not to my knowledge, I haven't run into anything that shows that.
Okay.
They do offer Maine retirement.
Yep.
Go through Maine retirement services. So
Okay.
they're not offering a 457 at this time. I didn't see anything in there where they were, but.
Okay. Because the benefit of the 457 is actually does allow people like a 401k to, it's kind of like what they call deferred comp, where you're able to put money aside for the future, be able to actively invest it into accounts that can earn pretty decent returns. But what's kind of attractive about it is you can put quite a bit of money away. Up to, I think it's $18,000 a year can be put into these accounts. They're tax deferred. And what's good about them is in a hardship situation, the employees can actually take a loan on the account kind of like a 401k. And a lot of municipalities that we've been dealing with don't know a lot about the plans. So that's one of the resources that we can provide is, looking at if a 457 makes sense. Sometimes if it's a small group of people, it may not make as much sense. But there's also, again, on the flip side of that, what we also do for smaller groups is we do a financial wellness workshop where the employees that work with the town, we can actually sit down with them at no charge and just do kind of the basics of money and finance, how money works, and show them, what other possibilities or options may be available to them. We kind of do it as like a lunch and learn, where we'll bring in pizza, that type of thing, and we'll do a short presentation just to kind of open the world a little bit, because I'm not sure how much financial education in the world is getting done nowadays, especially with people getting into debt, having trouble getting out of debt. And I'm sure, one of the things we found is that, employees, whether it's a town or a company, typically struggle with their own personal finances, and it affects their job performance. So we've been finding that if we're able to sit down with them and provide some solutions for them that doesn't cost them anything, and can show them how to get out of debt, how to do things the right way, and maybe even free up some money in their budget, then that actually helps them, and it also helps their employer, which would obviously be the town here. And then obviously, the other thing we wanted to touch base with you on is the reserves. Now, the reserves that you have for the town, I'm assuming that's for like snow removal, any basic needs for the town.
We basically just started.
Okay.
In 2012, they voted their very first capital reserve fund.
Okay.
So it's a very new concept to the
Okay.
town of Lebanon.
Okay.
They do have trust funds that they've had for a while. They have trust funds, and pretty much that's it.
Okay. Now, are they typically invested like just in like a bank account, or?
They were invested in money markets,
Okay.
but they were losing heavily.
Yeah.
And we changed banks as well.
Gotcha.
So you're kind of coming in at a good point here.
Okay.
So I've not reinvested those funds
Okay.
because they had lost tremendously.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in money markets.
Wow. Really? And they had lost money, huh?
Yeah.
And was that invested with the bank? Is that where it was originally, was invested with the bank and money markets?
Yes, the bank invested.
Yeah, unfortunately what we find is that's, when you say, losing money there, a lot of times it's fees. A lot of these accounts are kind of fee laden.
Yeah,
So that's a
kinda
lot of
looked
times,
at that.
yeah.
It's a half dozen one, half dozen the other. It
Right.
depends on when you pull it out too. You gotta kind of watch it. We really have no choice
Right.
when we don't have that flexibility.
Right. So liquidity is key with these reserve type of accounts, obviously.
Absolutely.
Okay. I know what I'm going to talk about is probably going to be something that you've heard of before, but maybe not understood really how to maximize them. Municipal bonds actually are a great way for municipalities to actually invest reserves. They fall within the criteria of what you have to do from a fiduciary responsibility side. And what's nice about them is these municipal bonds, the ones we deal with, are not necessarily just like bonds of cities or towns, because those actually can be somewhat risky. The ones we deal with are more revenue bond generated. So for instance, like one of the big holdings we have within the municipal side is the Golden Gate Bridge out in California. Reason why it's so stable is because they generate income via the tolls over the bridge. And so whether the economy is good or bad, people have to still travel over the bridge. So those type of investments, these revenue type bonds that are not traditional municipal bonds, are very stable, very secure. They have federal backing because they're infrastructure. And the good thing is the yields on those are typically going to be better than what you're going to get at the bank, in the range of 2 to 4% per year. And the big kicker on them is they actually, because they are revenue bonds, they are municipal bonds, there is a tax benefit also. So these accounts actually qualify for federal income tax break. So you're not paying federal income taxes on the gains on those accounts. Now when you're investing in a bank,
I don't do that anyway.
right, but I mean it does give you, that layer, that is an advantage. But I think from a reserve standpoint, at least it's getting the reserve working for you. You know, instead of having it, you know, at wherever it would be at a bank at maybe 1% or less. It gives you the ability to be making more than that, but also you're able to do it with the liquidity. So if you need access to it, it's immediately available for you. So it's not something that's tied up like it might be if you want to get a higher yield at a bank, like in a CD or something like that. So again, this is something new for us in this area, but the group that I'm working with down in Pennsylvania has done a lot of this, and the municipalities have had a lot of success with it, just in getting that money actually working for the town. So those are kind of the three areas that I think, you know, with our community outreach, those are the things that we feel we can really provide as value for people. I think.
Do you deal with jumbo CDs?
Not really. The problem there ultimately is, for a lot of people, it is liquidity. You know, because again, you're usually in exchange for a higher return, you have to leave that money there for a certain period of time.
Right.
So from a town standpoint, especially with a reserve account, you know, if you do need those funds, you have a penalty if you have to withdraw those.
Yeah.
So
I was looking, we kind of have our taxes come in twice a year.
Yeah.
We have them come in October and in April.
okay.
Yeah, that's right. It's late. So October and April. So I was kind of looking at jumbo CDs for a short term,
Yep.
when we have the most money available.
Right.
We don't really have enough capital funds enough in our reserve in our fund balance account
Mhm.
to carry us for 2 months.
Okay.
Without having to access a TAN.
Yeah.
So the only time that we would really have investment, and I was looking at the jumbo CDs,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not excessively long term.
Right.
They have somewhat of good yield, and we have all of this money sitting there for a few months.
Yeah.
So I was really looking at those.
One of the advantage of, you know, again, the municipal side versus something like that will again be liquidity. The accessibility is within 24 hours, the money's there. It's readily accessible. The other thing too about these municipalities, which you're not going to get from a CD, is as much as the return is good, you know, 2 to 4% for a very stable asset, they also pay dividends. And the dividend yield on those on top of the return is another 2 to 3%. So if you're adding those together, you know, you're looking at pretty good yields on accounts that are pretty much one level above the money market. So I think for many of the different reasons, I think they're a really good fit for especially small towns, you know, where you're going to get the most bang for your buck from something like that. And again, there's no issue with liquidity, unlike the bonds, not the bonds, but the CDs that you would deal with.
Yeah, they're short term enough that you can get them in short term increments. That
Now, what type of yield
it
are
would
they
work.
talking about giving you for something like that? I'm just curious.
I haven't really gone out there and started working on it.
Okay.
It was just something. Like I said, I've only been here
Yeah.
since the middle of 2012. So,
Okay.
and there's been a lot of things that have happened in town. He
Yeah.
knows.
Jimmy knows that.
So we've been a little busy.
Yeah.
So I've started looking into some of that stuff.
Okay.
Very short-term investments. Like I said, we get to a certain point and we don't have enough capital to keep us going,
Yeah.
or cash flow to keep us going,
Right.
without having to access a TAN. So
Okay.
it was just another way of making money without hitting up the taxpayers. You know, any little bit you can bring in.
Okay. So, I mean, those are kind of the areas that I'm looking at, like the 457. I'm not sure if that would be a fit, just because it does seem like a small group. But it might be. I mean, it's something maybe too worth exploring where you don't have a plan yet. Then it would be a matter of whether people would get value out of it if they could feel like they could contribute to it. I think the wellness workshop, by far, is probably the best thing we bring to the table. Just because a lot of people have financial questions, but they don't know who to go to, and they don't want to necessarily have to pay for the advice.
Yeah. So who pays for that?
Well,
You
basically,
get it through getting your information and your clients. That way, the town wouldn't be.
nope, town doesn't pay anything for any of the stuff we're talking about.
Okay.
Other than the investment account, there'd be some fees there, but they're nominal. They're pretty small, and I'm going to leave information with you so you can review it.
Okay, great.
But again, even for the people in the town that sit with us, they're not paying a fee to sit with us. Okay, so we're not a fee-based planner. The way our structure is in our company, and it's been this way for 38 years since we started, is the companies we work with, like the Fidelities of the world and the MetLifes and the big companies, they pay us. Just because we have, 6,000 offices across the country, we have 100,000 people in the company, so they can afford basically to pay us well, and we don't have to transfer that cost to the customer. So it's a unique opportunity for people that are on a limited fixed budget to get the financial advice and planning that they need. And here's the great part: if we sit down with someone and we go through and we can't help them, there's no cost there. So at least, even if they already have a plan in place or they're doing something, they can get kind of a second opinion. And I think a lot of people, they like that. They like the idea of having that second opinion. And I think having, Jim be local, I think is a big asset too.
Yeah, around these parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that intrigued me most about it. That a lot of my friends and people that I went to school with and acquaintances that I've met through the business that are on other businesses and what they do is what they provide is they're only providing 1 to 2 types of services, maybe similar to what we might come across the kitchen table with, but we're able to have various all these kinds of different companies, and I call them like tools in my tool belt. If I'm sitting across from a family, no family is really the same when it comes to situations, and so it allows us to have various opportunities to provide for them. That says, hey, you would fall better into this company. This company provides this that would highly benefit you. Where another family is all set there or doesn't even need that. And when I sit with another family or even another business, that's like, okay, yep, this type of investments or insurances or programs or services that they offer will highly benefit you more than the last person I sat with. And that's what the highest really intrigued me on helping people, because ultimately you sit down across from somebody and you're there to make a difference. I'm not there to make a sale. I'm not there to I'm in it to make money, but I feel good about it because I kind of get paid for helping people. And that's kind of the cool way to look at it. And that's why it intrigued me. As like, well, I'll bring it up to Ben and say, hey, approach the selectmen, bring it across the town that if there is any beneficial thing here, for one, it's not going to cost anything to look at it. If we can get the numbers and run it through, and if there's anything that we can provide for a service that can benefit the town, great. If not, then at least we looked at it.
Yeah.
It's an option.
Yeah.
And it's something that not only is it for the town, but it's for every individual in the town.
Right.
Absolutely.
Where it's not, I can bring, let's say, 18 different types of financial services into one place rather than having someone have to go to 18 different places to get the same service.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's and really doing this for the last couple of years, it's really opened my eyes on, wow, like just the stuff of my own personal stuff, never mind businesses, entities,
Right.
municipalities.
Right.
Like everyone deals with money every day, and everyone has different needs and wants.
Yeah.
That there's no different in businesses and municipalities either.
Right.
We all have the same want more.
You want more. Exactly.
Well, and the uniqueness of what I think we bring to the table up here is it's going to be the service. With Jim being local, the service will be second to none. You're not going to find someone who's going to do better than what he's going to do, especially being in town. Because if he messes up, everyone's going to know about it.
Yeah.
So
he'd be like one of you guys.
Welcome aboard. No,
Yeah.
Or you, for that matter.
Yeah, but I could go home afterwards.
Well, here's the thing too. I look at is I have been working in Maine with Jim for a little while, and I see there's not many companies doing this. Where they're willing to actually come and meet with people in their home and provide this type of service. Do you guys agree with that? Do you see
yeah, and I with some of the background that I have, if there aren't 60 employees who may jump on, they basically say, okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They want that big piece.
Yep.
And a lot of that is, we call it overhead type of, it's the big companies, and that's why the bigger companies like us, because that way they don't have to build the brick and mortar operations. for the dozen people to work at it, because now they gotta pay all the utilities, they gotta pay for the building, they gotta pay for the salaries and all this stuff, and they gotta perform, so therefore the employees at that point are kind of pressured, say, hey, you need to go out and make us money for us to have this location. So, you know, the services provided aren't always quite the best, because sometimes they don't always have the people's best interest at mind.
Right.
And it's just, you know, that's kind of business. It's just the way it is sometimes. Where us, you know, we're an independent business. We come in and sit down, provide all these different services, and it's really laid back. We're there for the client first and foremost, because there is no, you know, the client isn't paying anything.
Right.
We get paid by the companies that the client works through.
Right.
So I like that strategy a lot better.
So at this
Yeah.
point, do you guys have any questions at all on what we've kind of brought up or talked about?
I don't.
No?
Okay.
You guys see some value in this and how this might be able to help?
I'm waiting for some brochures or something I can
Yeah.
look over and read.
Sure. Yeah, I put a whole packet together for you.
Yeah.
So basically there'll be, you know, brochures in here on the actual financial plan we do.
Okay.
Kind of the neat part about, we call it a financial needs analysis, is that is part of the service, and it actually does a snapshot of people of what their finances look like now,
Yeah.
but it also bridges to where they want to be.
Yeah.
Right down to the penny, shows them how to get, you know, out of debt, how to save money, how to invest money, how to properly protect their family, that type of thing. I did put some information in here on the 457.
Okay.
So you can kind of look at that as see if that's an option. The part I do like about the 457 over every other retirement plan that a city or town could set up is the contribution limits.
Yeah.
I mean, those are pretty significant. You're usually not going to see that in any other plan. And they also don't follow the 59.5 rule.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody who works with the town and they retire early or they leave, they can access that money without a penalty. So for me, that's one of the big selling points. Not too many other plans do that. And then just some credibility on Primerica. I put some in there, and just some of the ideas on, you know, what to do with sidelined assets, which is kind of like reserve money.
Sure.
And I put prospectuses in here for you too.
Yep.
That way you'll be able to look at that and see what the fees look like, see what the returns look like.
Yep.
And that way it'll give you some things to kind of mull over.
Yep.
And what I'm thinking is, you know, have maybe, I'll get that to you, have maybe Jim follow up with you in a little while, kind of see what you guys think of, you know, the ideas that we put on the table, see what might fit. Because in the beginning, maybe we'll be looking at just maybe one thing and maybe building on that, you know.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, from a reserve standpoint, I think that's a little bit of a no-brainer, just in that it's going to give you a much better yield with the dividends that you're not getting now, and the liquidity is there, so.
But at least you have something to compare, you know, what you have now
Yep.
to, you know, some of the stuff that we can offer, and
Yep.
if it's a fit, great. If,
And the good part is some of that stuff, even though it's for the town, some of it's pretty interchangeable with people's finances too. You know, because I use municipal accounts for a lot of my clients' individual emergency funds. You know, where if you've got $5,000 or $10,000 in an emergency fund, rather than leaving it in the bank, they can use a municipal fund to be able to get a better yield.
Yep.
You know, and again, the key on it is liquidity, it's accessibility. Because again, the problem you have with most investments, if you want to invest at all, is usually the cost to do it, and usually you have to tie it up for a period of time in order to get that higher return.
Yep.
This gives you kind of the best of both worlds on all that stuff. So,
Very good.
all
Yeah.
right.
And I wrote down Ben has book, so you can keep it proud.
There are some brochures in there, so if everyone wanted to take one and just be able to look at it, that's fine. These are the things that we would actually
at least some of the big
be,
cards,
you
so
know,
you guys can do-
those are, like, this one here is actually a pretty good one too. It actually goes over the financial wellness workshop, and what material we would actually cover in the workshop. It's usually a half-hour workshop, it's not anything long.
You left these at the transfer station, didn't you?
I did.
I remember now, Rick.
So yeah, I mean, that's our main thing is community outreach. We really want to try to get to the people that need it. It's great to start with people that work in the town.
Yep.
And then it can kind of branch out from there just on word of mouth and, you know, some good things that we do. We obviously want to earn the opportunity to work with you guys.
Yeah.
So like I said, you
Especially
know,
being a local guy, it's, you know, this is a good way for me too to network and, you know, get exactly what it is. A lot of people don't understand, you know, a lot of what it is that I do. They all think it's all it's just insurance or it's just investing,
Yeah.
and it kind of almost rubs the people the wrong way in a certain aspect. And it's like there's more to offer, but it's hard to tell them and how to, you know, what exactly I do bring across the table.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, this here is kind of a good example of the various options that are available.
I'll leave my card with you too.
Okay,
If you
yep,
have
good.
any questions at all.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm the vice president, so I'm technically his supervisor.
Yeah.
So everything kind of has to go through me. But the good thing is Jim will be the liaison here, and I'll be as active as you want me to be.
Okay.
You know, I mean that's what we're trying to do is again work together on this.
So let us get through the tax commitment season here. And, catch us between tax commitment and budgets. You know, it's about a month away or so.
Oh,
Right.
it's amazing how fast it goes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
So some things to
give some
think
time to
about.
mull it over and
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah.
And, yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thank you very much.
Before you
Pleasure
leave,
meeting you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you,
sir.
Again,
Nice to
yep.
meet you.
before you leave, would you just let us know your name because we can't
Yeah.
see the card.
Anthony Mercadante, Primerica.
Tuesday.
Thank you.
5:30.
Jim.
You gonna come
Jim
over
Emmons,
tomorrow morning?
Primerica.
Thank you.
Need a motion?
Yep. I'm gonna let them get out the door first.
I know. He's in such a hurry.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very
Nice to
much.
meet
Bye,
you.
anytime.
Thanks for the time.
Nice to meet you.
Have a good night, guys.
Night.
Thank you.
Too. Y'all set on the way out there? Okay.
Did you have anything? Oh, you're already writing it. Never mind. Go ahead. He's already writing it down. Did you have anything?
Real quick, I need your time sheets tomorrow. We're supposed to end here for tomorrow before noon. And I need somebody to come in sometime tomorrow afternoon, but before Tuesday morning to do the payroll.
What time tomorrow?
Afternoon time
Okay.
should be all set.
We'll be here afternoon time, a couple of us.
Okay, I'll have it on the table ready for you guys to go. If you have any, I'm leaving at noon, so if you have any questions, just give me a holler. I'll holler back. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
What if they're real serious and take a long time?
I will get
Will
Dan.
you holler
I
loud?
will get
Motion to
Dan
adjourn?
to give me an escort.
Seconded.
No, you were. I didn't even get on it, Paul. Go on.
Get tired.
Falling asleep, me too.
Okay,
All
all
done, yep.
set?
Yep.
Yep,
5:30
Tuesday.
tomorrow morning.
Yep. About 8:30? Or earlier?
No, I get back at 10 past.
Oh, alright. All right. Yep, sounds good.
What are you guys doing tomorrow? Assessing? Thank you, Paul.
Yes.
That's all we've been doing.
I know that's all you've been doing. Well, you should be almost done, huh?
Almost.
Mm.